Most mornings we step into the shower trusting it to wake us up and wash worry away. Yet after years of caring for older Americans, I have learned a quieter truth. The moment you rise, your pressure dips as your system shifts from lying flat to standing, and hot water asks your vessels to open wider at the exact same time, so the brain can be briefly undersupplied and your balance can slip before the soap reaches your hands. If you want one simple safeguard you can use today, sit at the edge of the bed, drink a glass of room temperature water, breathe slowly, and give your legs a gentle stretch before you turn the handle. That small pause steadies blood flow and steadies you. Warm water has a clear upside. It soothes aching shoulders and eases stiff knees. It settles the nervous system and makes the morning kinder. Yet the quiet downside is a short dip in pressure that can blur your vision or make your knees buckle when the floor is wet. A cool finish has a different upside. It can spark alertness and lift your mood. Yet the hidden downside is a sharp squeeze of the blood vessels that raises the work of the heart right when you may not be ready for it. Early hours add another layer because the body releases wake-up signals that swing pressure and pulse, helpful in youth, less forgiving when age, dehydration, and medicines join the mix. None of this means the shower is your enemy. It means the sequence matters more than you were told, so change the order and keep the comfort. I encourage you to let water meet your skin, in steps rather than in a rush. Test the warmth with your hand, step in slowly, and keep the air moving so the room does not grow heavy. Leading heart centers have shown that heat and humidity can lower pressure enough to cause lightheadedness in older adults, while sudden cold can drive a reflex that lifts pressure and quickens the heart, especially in people with heart disease or those taking medicines that relax vessels or move fluid. And that is why pacing and preparation are worth more than bravado. In plain language, timing, temperature, and posture decide whether your shower heals or harms. And the good news is, you can change all three in a single morning. My promise at the start is simple. I will show you how to protect your brain without losing the ritual you love. Beginning with this first habit, give your body a quiet half hour before the water, and watch how your head clears and your footing steadies. You may think of the bathroom as your sanctuary, the quiet space where warm water clears the night away and helps you feel alive again. Yet I have seen how that same ritual can quietly become the stage for strokes, fainting, and sudden weakness. The contradiction is powerful. What feels like healing can turn harmful when age, medications, and circulation changes meet the wrong routine. On one side, the benefits are real. A hot shower soothes aching joints, lowers stress, and restores a sense of dignity at the start of the day. On the other side lies the risk that these comforts demand more than an older heart, and stiff arteries can safely deliver. As we age, the vessels no longer flex as easily, the nervous system does not respond as quickly, and the morning surge in stress hormones makes every change in pressure more dramatic. That is why the very moment you rise, when blood pressure dips naturally, stepping into hot water can widen vessels too much and starve the brain of oxygen just long enough to blur vision or trip your balance. A slip on a wet tile may look like bad luck, but often the true cause was written seconds earlier in the sudden drop of blood flow to the brain. Studies confirm that dehydration, early morning cortisol surges, and abrupt shifts between hot and cold combine to raise the risk of fainting or transient ischemic attacks in older adults. What unsettles me most is how silent these events can be. There is no pain to warn you, no dramatic signal, just a brief stumble in speech or a passing haze in your eyes, and then the damage has already begun. The advantage of knowing this is that you do not have to give up the comfort of your shower. You simply need to adjust the timing and the pace. Begin to notice whether your head feels light the moment the water touches your skin. Listen to that whisper from your body, and slow the sequence instead of rushing. In the next part, I will show you how a single change in morning timing can protect your brain while letting you keep the ritual you love. Because a shower should refresh, not betray. What feels like the gentlest ritual of the morning can also be the most deceptive. Many of us step into a hot shower believing the warmth is medicine, loosening stiff joints, calming the heart, and giving us the strength to face the day. That is true, and the advantages are real. A soothing cascade that eases pain, reduces tension, and restores dignity. Yet hidden inside that comfort is a risk few people ever consider. When you first rise, your pressure naturally drops. Your brain is shifting from rest to alertness, and oxygen demand is at its peak. Add sudden heat and your blood vessels widen further, lowering pressure at the very moment you need stability. The science is simple to picture. It is like turning on every faucet in a house when the main valve is barely open. The upstairs rooms run dry, and in your body, the upstairs is your brain. That moment of blurred vision or unsteady legs is not age alone. It is a signal that circulation is faltering. Leonard James, a retired carpenter in his mid-70s, learned this the hard way. For 40 years, he rose at dawn, skipped breakfast, and walked straight into steam that he thought was his daily therapy. One morning, his wife found him unable to speak clearly, his arm limp, his eyes confused. He had not fallen. He had not struck his head. The scans revealed a stroke born not of bad diet or smoking, but of a ritual he trusted. The lesson is not that warmth is dangerous. The lesson is that timing matters more than we ever imagined. By waiting 20 to 30 minutes after waking, sipping a glass of room temperature water, and letting the heart and brain catch up before the steam begins, you cut the risk while keeping the comfort. Specialists in heart and brain medicine confirm that hydration and pacing reduce fainting spells and transient ischemic events in older adults. The beauty of this small change is that it does not take away what you love. It simply reshapes the order so that the gift of warmth remains a blessing rather than a threat. The very chill that many people believe to be a tonic for the body can, in truth, be the spark that topples a vulnerable heart. Cold showers carry a promise of strength, a quick blast of icy water that feels like courage itself, waking the mind, sharpening alertness, and lifting mood. Those are the advantages, and they are real. The coolness can energize and give a sense of control. Yet the disadvantage hides in how sudden the shock can be. When cold strikes the skin without warning, the blood vessels clamp like a tightened fist, pressure surges, the heart races, and for older arteries that no longer flex easily, this sudden squeeze can be far too much. Scientists call it the cold shock reflex, and it explains why some older adults feel dizzy, faint, or experience chest tightness when they try this routine. I remember Robert Hayes, a retired firefighter in his late 70s, who took pride in being strong. He had read that a 30-second cold rinse after a hot shower would keep his mind sharp. At first he felt invigorated, but one winter morning the icy stream closed around his chest. He collapsed to the floor, and by the time he reached the hospital, he had suffered a transient ischemic attack with an unstable rhythm that frightened even the emergency team. His wife had thought he was doing something healthy, and so did he. But the truth was different. The point is not that cold must be banished. The point is that it must be respected. A slow cooling, lowering the temperature in stages, can still give freshness without pushing the heart into crisis. Cardiologists caution that sudden cold immersion is especially risky for people past 60. But gentle, cool water used with awareness can still be safe. What matters is not the temperature itself, but the way you approach it, steady and gradual. Because a shower should leave you awake and alive, not leave your heart gasping. The quiet hours of early morning often feel like the safest time to begin the day. Yet within the body, this is when strain quietly builds. Between 5 and 8 in the morning, your system releases cortisol to wake you. Your blood pressure rises to prepare you for movement, and your heart works harder than at any other point in the day. For many people, the advantage of showering early is obvious. It clears the sleepiness, strengthens discipline, and provides a comforting sense of order. But the disadvantage is less visible, because the body is already in a state of stress, and when hot water is added to that mix, the circulation can be pushed past its safe limits. Picture it as a river already swollen with spring rains, strong enough on its own. And then a sudden surge of water from a dam, threatens to spill the banks. I think often of Carol Matthews, an 83-year-old piano teacher who prided herself on her schedule. At 6, she was awake. At 1:15, she stepped into her shower, and by 7, she was seated at the breakfast table. That discipline gave her a sense of independence. One winter morning, she followed her ritual exactly, but moments after leaving the shower, her right arm grew weak, her words tangled, and her daughter found her slumped against the wall. The scans confirmed an ischemic stroke. A clot had blocked blood flow to her brain, triggered by timing rather than habit itself. The tragedy was not in her commitment to routine, but in placing the shower inside the very window when the body is least forgiving. The solution does not mean giving up discipline, it means shifting it. By waiting 45 minutes, drinking a glass of water, and letting your circulation steady before turning the faucet, you keep the gift of structure without inviting the risk. Heart specialists agree that delaying the shower turns those early hours from a danger zone into a safer start. Your morning ritual can still be yours, but with this one adjustment, it becomes an ally rather than a threat. The room you trust most can be the very place that takes away the freedom you cherish. For many older adults, the ability to bathe alone is a point of pride. It preserves dignity, keeps a daily rhythm intact, and proves to oneself that independence is still within reach. Those are the advantages, and they matter deeply. Yet the disadvantage is quiet and dangerous, because porcelain tubs and smooth tiles are as unforgiving as stone when wet, and without a handhold, a simple slip can become a life-altering event. A younger person might walk away with little more than a bruise, but for an older body with thinner bones and vessels already under strain, the same fall can trigger bleeding, clot formation, or a stroke. I remember William Turner, an 82-year-old veteran who carried his independence like a badge. He refused help, believing strength meant doing everything on his own. One morning, his foot slid on the tile. He reached out, but there was nothing to grasp, and he struck his head on the tub. Hours later, scans showed not only a concussion, but a stroke likely triggered by the pressure surge from that fall. The tragedy was not in accepting help. It was in the absence of small safeguards that could have prevented it. The truth is that grab bars and shower chairs are not symbols of weakness. They are the very tools that keep independence alive. Safety researchers have shown that these simple additions cut the risk of serious bathroom falls in older adults by more than half. Installing support is not giving up control. It is extending it, allowing you to step into the shower with confidence that you can continue doing it yourself. Independence is not lost when you add protection. It is lost when a fall takes away what could have been saved. The very steam that so many of us treasure can turn from comfort into a silent thief of oxygen. To step into a foggy bathroom and feel the warmth wrap around aching joints is a pleasure. It eases arthritis, softens tight muscles, and gives a sense of being cared for. That is the advantage. A natural comfort that feels like a blanket for the body. Yet the disadvantage is quiet and dangerous, because as the mirror fogs and the air thickens, the level of oxygen in the room falls, and every breath delivers less fuel to the brain. For a younger body, this imbalance passes unnoticed. But for older adults with slower adaptation, the result can be dizziness, blurred thought, or even episodes that mimic dementia. Elaine Foster, a 77-year-old choir director, came to me believing her mind was failing. Each morning she closed the door, let the steam rise, and within an hour she would feel confused and her speech sometimes slipped. She feared Alzheimer's, feared that her independence was ending. But scans were clear. Her vessels showed no new damage. The culprit was not memory loss, it was her bathroom routine. By opening a window, turning on a fan, and keeping the air moving, we gave her brain back the oxygen it had been missing, and within weeks her fog lifted. The lesson is simple. Steam itself is not the danger. The danger is when it has nowhere to go. Ventilation is not about taking away comfort. It is about protecting the mind that allows you to enjoy that comfort. Keep the warmth if you love it, but let the air breathe, because a shower should renew your clarity, not steal it. The very moment you believe you are caring for your body, may be the time when your brain is most at risk. Many older adults step into the shower right after breakfast or immediately after swallowing morning medicine, thinking it is efficient and even healthy. The advantage is clear. It feels clean. It keeps a routine intact, and it gives a sense of control. Yet the disadvantage is hidden in the way the body works. After a meal, your circulation diverts blood toward the stomach to aid digestion, and after heart or blood pressure pills, your vessels relax and pressure drifts downward. Add the heat and upright posture of a shower, and you create a perfect storm where the brain is left waiting for supply it does not receive. Picture traffic on a busy highway, with most cars rerouted to a single exit for digestion, while the lane leading to the brain stands empty. That delay can last just long enough to blur vision, steal balance, or allow a clot to lodge where it should not. Hattie Reynolds, an 80-year-old church volunteer, had followed her ritual for years: oatmeal and coffee at 7:30, shower by 8, until one morning her husband heard a thud and found her collapsed. At the hospital, doctors confirmed a mild ischemic stroke, born not of poor lifestyle, but of timing. Dennis Morgan, a 79-year-old mechanic, took his pills at dawn and headed straight for the shower, until one morning he slid to the floor, disoriented and weak. A clot lodged in his brain as pressure dropped. Their stories show how easy it is to overlook what timing means. The good news is that the fix is within reach. Wait 45 minutes after meals or after taking morning medications. Sip water. Let the body settle, and then shower in safety. Cardiologists and neurologists alike affirm that this short pause lowers the risk of fainting and silent strokes. The lesson is not to abandon your habits, but to give your body the grace of time so that the ritual of bathing remains a source of strength rather than a hidden threat. The very movements that once felt effortless can become the hidden traps of the shower. To stand proudly under the stream of hot water is to feel independent, strong, and capable, and those are real advantages because they preserve dignity and confidence. Yet the disadvantage grows quietly with each passing minute. Heat dilates vessels, blood sinks into the legs like water gathering in a basin, and the brain receives less of what it needs. For an older heart, this pooling is not harmless. It can slow circulation enough for clots to form and travel upward. Harold Dawson, a retired mail carrier of 81, was known for his long showers, standing tall for 15 or 20 minutes, as if to prove his resilience. One morning, his wife heard the crash, found him on the floor, and scans showed a clot had struck his brain during that daily ritual. Independence was not his enemy. The enemy was stillness combined with heat. Then there are the quick motions that feel automatic: bending to pick up soap, twisting for a towel, or leaning for a razor. To a younger body, they are nothing. But to an older system, they can cause a sharp drop in pressure that leaves the brain gasping. Gloria Bennett, a 76-year-old bookkeeper, bent to grab her razor and woke moments later on the floor. Her words tangled, a clot having lodged in her brain from that sudden strain. Their stories reveal that danger does not lie in bathing itself, but in the way we move. The remedy is simple and wise. A shower chair is not a loss of freedom, but a guarantee of it, giving you the ability to bathe without fear of standing too long. Moving with intention, pausing between changes, rising slowly instead of rushing, all protect the circulation and the brain. Doctors agree that paced motion and supportive tools lower the risk of both falls and strokes. True independence is not measured by how long you can stand without help. It is measured by how safely you can keep doing what matters most. It is often the smallest adjustments that build the greatest defense. Over these minutes, we have walked together through the hidden traps of the shower: the heat that comes too soon, the cold that comes too sudden, the steam that lingers too heavy, the meal or medicine that shifts blood away from the brain, the long stillness or quick bend that tips balance into danger. Each of these habits carries an advantage that matters: the comfort of warmth, the lift of freshness, the pride of independence. But each also holds a cost when age and fragile circulation are part of the picture. The lesson is not to abandon these rituals, but to reshape them so they serve rather than betray you. I have stood at the bedside of men and women whose lives were changed forever by strokes born not of grand mistakes, but of small oversights in the bathroom. And I have also witnessed the relief of those who chose to hydrate first, to wait a little longer, to let air move, to sit when needed, to rise more slowly. Those choices did not take away independence. They preserved it. They did not weaken dignity. They strengthened it. As you approach your own shower tomorrow, carry this truth. You hold the power to protect your brain and your heart with nothing more than patience and awareness. If this message has spoken to you, I invite you to leave a comment, share which habit you have wrestled with, and let this space become a gathering of wisdom. Together we remind one another that it is never too late to change. And if you wish to walk further on this journey with me, subscribe, so that each small step we take can become part of a life lived longer, safer, and stronger.